Okay, ladies, this is the beginning for clue 2. We're going to recap clue 1. You should have 41 blocks that look like this. And you should have 25 blocks that look like this if you're making the wall hanging size. So you've got those all done. You've got those set aside. So let's go on to our next strip set. Okay. Whoops. We'll get that out of the road too. Alrighty. Now, for our next strip set, we are going to take 2 of our 2-inch accent fabric strips and a 4-inch wide background strip, and we're going to do the exact same thing to this that we did to the other one. We've just got our colors switched around. So let's take this over to the sewing machine. Put our right sides together here and sew these together. Get this strip set put together like we did the last one. Still using my 1/4-inch guide over here. I like to stay, I stay just a hair on the other side of it. I use it as a guide for the edge of my fabric. Sometimes I do a little better, sometimes a little worse. Said the last time, I'm just kind of letting the machine pull the fabric through. I don't pull it. I try not to stretch it. Yours should not look like this on the end. I think they had us cut
is that for
these off of there. Yeah. So that's why it's a little. I have plenty of fabric. I'm always err on the side of caution when I'm doing this, and always get an extra half a yard just in case I screw something up, because that is always a really good possibility with me. I'm thinking I'm reading instructions correctly, and then I find out that I am not. I have the other one here on my lap. Yep, remember to grab it this time. So, whoop, and there it goes. Right down on the floor. Okay, now we're going to put this one on the other side. So, stay up here, buddy. All right, get my right sides. I'm going to try to match this up. I'm not sure.
Did any of this? I think you need a third hand.
Yeah.
Put my finger here.
All right, let's try this again.
Did any of this come from Missouri? Start online now.
All right. So I'm just lining up my edges here and sewing my strip. My 2-inch accent fabrics to my, I think it's a 4-inch background fabric to make another strip set. So, okay. We got this sewn on. Where are we at underneath there? Okay. So now we're going to take this over to the ironing board and get this strip pressed open.
Okay.
All right.
We're back on.
We ready? Okay, ladies, here we go. Now, I want this pressed to the dark side. All right. I want my seam back here. I don't want it to show up. And you can see it in my white or in my light background fabric. I don't like that. So regardless of what they tell you in the instructions, sometimes they'll tell you to do this or to do that and press this direction. I don't pay attention. I've just got this dark side thing. So I want to make sure I noticed. Apparently, I'm not doing them all right because all of my not everything is nesting. So I'm not a good nester. I am not a good nester. So, but that's all right. Stuff happens. I shouldn't have put water in my iron yesterday. I think he's a little full because he's dripping at me this morning. Okay, so let me go on the back side then and fix that. I'm anal about having all my everything laying down the way it's supposed to back here. Because if it's not all laying down nice, when you go to sew some of these together and then you get a bump because it's not going the right way, if that makes any sense to anybody. You know, this was a retirement gift from the girls that worked for me. And I've had this since the end of March of 2019. And I was so doggone tickled to get this gift. I just thought it was so cool that the feet, you know, flip up and you can just set it down and you don't have to worry about bumping your ironing board and your iron, you know, when you set it like this and you bump your board and the iron falls off on the floor and puts a divot in your floor where the tip hit it. Yeah, none of that. So I love it. I love it. You know, it just kind of goes up and down. But the main problem that I find with it, am I good or what? Because that one is clear down. The problem that I find with it is if I go to a retreat and it's a regular iron, I have a tendency to leave it set down like this and walk away. And then I'm trying to start the ironing board pad on fire at the retreat because I'm used to this iron instead of a traditional stand it on the end iron. Right. So, yeah, so I have to pay attention when I'm somewhere else and not using this iron. Okay, we've got this one all ironed here, ironed open. It's pretty well got a nice crease to it. I didn't iron it wrong and iron I don't know what you want to call it, but it's pretty crisp. So that's the way we want it. So, okay, let's take this baby over to the cutting mat and let's start cutting our strips. Okay, now just like the other, from the first clue, the first strip set that we did, you're going to make 4 of these. So you've cut enough when you cut all of this to start with. You're going to make 4 of these strip sets, okay? And then I want to cut off my weird salvage here that I got going on, which, okay.
Is that little handle that's on that
this?
ruler, is that a Missouri Star handle?
Well, of course.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Cute.
I had, one of the times I was there, I'm not sure, it was probably early on in my quilting journey. I haven't been quilting since about, I think 2016 was my first little project. It was a table runner. It was awful, but I've improved a bit since then. But yeah, probably my first trip to Missouri Star, because I had watched a bunch of their tutorials, sure. I had bought this ruler, and then they talked about having the little, I use this thing all the time. It's my favorite. I like it much better than the big one. I use this if I'm cutting, you know, full fabric. Right. I will use this one. But normally when it comes to something smaller, I use this one all the time. It's 8 inches, 8 by 2.5. Yeah,
good size.
Yeah, and in Missouri Star, on the little, love it. So yeah, I'm a walking commercial for Missouri Star. They're my favorite. Okay, so we're going to cut these into 2-inch increments. I have to read my instructions.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so, or else we'd have a, yeah. Okay, so it says, when you cut these in 2-inch strips, it says that you should get 21 out of a strip. Okay?
But as we all know, it all depends on how wide your usable fabric is.
Right.
Yes.
And that's why I always buy a little extra.
Right.
Or I start cutting and it's like, Lisa, you ding dong, it's not supposed to be 2.5, it's supposed to be
Right.
2 inch.
Yeah.
So then at least I have enough, I can make another strip set
Yep.
for when I fluff something up. So,
We've done
all right.
that, haven't we? Yes.
We won't talk about that. So you're going to cut all 4 of these into 2-inch strips, and it's going to make a total of 82. So you need 82 of these B units. Okay? So you're going to cut all 4 of your strips and hope that when you're done, you get 82 units from those strips. If you're doing clue 2 for the wall hanging, that is the size and that is what your strips sets will look like, and you need
50.
we need 50 of those. That's right, because you needed 25 of the other. So you need 50 of those, and this is the quilt size.
Okay.
So that's clue 2. So ladies, get all these sewn up and get them all your little block part B, your B units or your B blocks, and get those all cut and stacked up. And we'll be ready for clue 3 here in a little bit.